出来的现在，我们即将进行的比赛上是7天组收点环节，敬请期待。
everyone, and welcome to Beijing, China. And a continuation of the Junior Grand Prix final, I'm Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty. The Junior Pairs short program coming up in just a little bit as we take a look at some of the magnificent facilities created for the Summer and Winter Olympic Games here in Beijing. Welcome, Mark, to the broadcast.
Yeah, it's really an amazing city. The only city to have hosted both Summer and Winter Olympics. So much sporting and legendary moments have happened in Beijing, and we've seen that already today in the National Indoor Stadium here, where history was made with Ilya Malinin landing a quad axel in the senior men's short program.
The city is home to 21 million, but only the second largest city in China, Shanghai being the largest, of course. Just a remarkable city and a remarkable country. Look at the facilities hosting the Olympic Games. And of course, what a privilege and opportunity for these young juniors to skate in such a beautiful arena.
And China hosting lots of skating with the Cup of China. Obviously, this the Grand Prix final, and then Shanghai, the largest city, will be host to the Four Continents Championship starting January 30th. And although there aren't any Chinese skaters represented at the Grand Prix final, we saw already on the Junior Grand Prix series some great up-and-coming stars of the future from the home nation here.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark, because I did mention a little earlier that the Junior Grand Prix Chinese team was really extraordinary in their programs, their skating skills, their jump skills coming along as well. They were up near the top, not necessarily on the podium, but very close. A new generation of young Chinese skaters are entering in the juniors. We'll see them in the seniors in a few years, of course, and that is exciting to see. As we take a look at the Junior Pairs short program coming up in just a few moments. Can you tell us, Mark, a little bit, you covered the senior pairs. What can the folks expect here in the junior pairs?
Well, actually, having seen the senior pairs, it was an incredibly exciting event in senior pairs, and I think it's been discussed and talked about by many that the pairs discipline was one that was perhaps most adversely affected by COVID, whereby the formation of new teams obviously was not possible. And then this season, we are missing the top two teams from last year's World Championship, so there was a prospect that it would be a weak year, and yet the seniors today were fantastic, and we hope the very same for the teams on our screen now, which indeed have one particular couple who posted some scores that would have been very competitive in the senior ranks as well, with Metalkina and Bitterlava, the final team from Georgia, to compete.
And we've seen new teams develop in the juniors and in the seniors as we take a look at the officials for this event. So that's pretty exciting to see new teams rising very quickly on both the junior and the senior Grand Prix series. We'll be very interested to watch what will transpire over the next few months as they lead into the Junior Worlds, and then, of course, the World Championships in Montreal as we take a look at the technical panel for this event. There is your countdown, Mark.
Yeah, the lighting in this arena is just phenomenal, and they're great to see the Canadian team who will lead the first three teams onto the ice.
Well, 3 of the 6 teams come from Canada, and that's been a bit of a surprise for the Canadian Association to see these teams, some of them just getting together this season right here. Jazmine Desrochers and Kieran Thrasher, a new team. They do have pair experience, but not together. As we see them take the ice, they'll skate first. They have Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov, also of Canada, not new to each other. This is their second year in the Junior Grand Prix, and here they find themselves in the final. And then the third team, Olivia, Flores, and Wang from the United States, they'll skate third in the first group. So what can the audience see the difference between a senior paired team, Mark, and a junior paired team?
Well, certainly with the, interestingly, with the seniors this year, we haven't seen since this last Olympic cycle, perhaps the same advancement technically. So there was a point in time where more quadruple throws and quad twists were potentially becoming a likely evident necessity. that has stalled a little bit, and so now we're seeing the tech score a little lower, but certainly in terms of separation between the juniors and seniors, as we watch Jazmine, Desrochers and Kieran Thrasher, is the program components and the skating skills, which tend to be a little weaker in the juniors. Although for this particular team, I think that's their strength. Technically, what they will be less likely to be as comfortable with are the tech elements.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also in the juniors, what will be a little bit more fragile, perhaps the side-by-side jumps and the throws. In the seniors, you generally, not always, but you generally don't see mistakes on those. They're so seasoned. But in the juniors, they're just getting used to that, developing their strength. They're still growing in many cases. So we might see a few more mistakes on the side-by-side jumps and the throws, hopefully not. But it is more possible, and of course, as you mentioned as well, the basic skating skills, connection to the music perhaps as well. These are, in some cases, new teams together. That takes a while.
Yeah. And as we look now to Eva Kemp and partner Jonathan Elizarov, who explained that they've had a coaching change since the Junior Grand Prix. They're working with Kevin Daw and Lee Barkel, so changes have happened. And actually, it does seem now, Ted, that as we watch Eva and Jonathan, that the Junior Grand Prix seems like a long, long time ago, and thus the potential for improvements to have been made will be sizable.
Absolutely. It's the timing of the Junior Grand Prix starts in mid-August and finishes in early October, giving them really a good month and a half, 6 weeks, 7 weeks perhaps, to continue their progress and their development. So you might see a difference perhaps in results, certainly in the improvements in each individual team.
With 2 silver medals on the Junior Grand Prix.
As we look now, Ted, at Olivia Flores and Luke Wang, these guys are brilliant. When we joked about me contacting and looking for information from the skaters, Olivia and Luke have just been wonderful in sharing some of their skating journey, and they particularly keen to express their appreciation for the training that they have at the World Arena Skating Academy Pairs program in Colorado Springs, and they've cited that as a huge motivation for them in their prep.
Yeah, no, you do such a wonderful job in contacting the athletes and the coaches and getting some intel, if you will, some background. In many cases, the stories that we don't know about, whether they come into an event injured or ill or whatever the changes, new partners, whatever. It's so good to have that background information to put in context what we're watching in a competition.
And I think for those that haven't been involved in the elite level of the sport, they may be unaware of the way in which skating consumes the lives of the athletes, because to be at this level, there just has to be such a resolute commitment. And even actually reading some of the biogs or even researching some of the athletes, it does become a recurring theme in the reference to what they don't do, especially for juniors, as many of them are teenagers, what they do not do in order to facilitate their dreams of competing at this level, choosing not to go out, choosing not to socialize in the same way as others do. And yet, I think they're probably all very satisfied knowing that's the right choice and getting to experience trips to Beijing to perform in Olympic venues, hopefully.
And you mentioned in regards to the seniors and some of the juniors as well, also in university. So you add university courses to training at this level, well, your life is full. It's just simply full, and you don't really have time for much else.
How they manage to juggle their schedule, but that in itself is a wonderful, life-affirming asset for the future. I think when I think of last year's Junior World Pairs champions from the States, Daniel, oh my goodness, struggling to remember the name, but he's now working as an aeronautical engineer.
Yes.
It was Sonia Baram and Daniel Chimentsev, I think. And
yes,
although now no longer in skating, I'm sure the lessons learned as an elite athlete working at the highest levels of the sport will serve him in all his future endeavors as somebody working with spaceships and rockets. But that might not be the same course of action for all these athletes, but certainly they can transpose the merits of athlete life to other aspects of their life.
There's no question that the dedication and commitment and learning how to cope with the failures and disappointments and enjoy the successes, that roller coaster of life, this is just a microscopic view of that. because it's such an up and down journey. And this brings a lot of education and experience to these skaters as they move on to university or to their jobs or to the rest of their life. They're well tooled as they move on in life.
And even actually seeing Luke Wang there, just acknowledging the other, maybe not things that serve them for life, but the other life experiences. Luke was just explaining that even things like being here with the different culture, the different food, interacting with some of the great people in the Chinese Federation, those life experiences that, you know, it's so rare to get the opportunity to enjoy as a youngster, really.
Yep, it's quite remarkable. And they'll look back at this in time as an extraordinary period in their life.
Our first skaters represent Canada.
首先登场的是加拿大组合。
Our first team represents Canada, Jazmine, Desrochers, and Kieran Thrasher. They're coached by Bruno Marcotte, Brian Shales, and choreographed by Julie Marcotte. Their season's best of the short program, 55.24. They'll hope to skate a higher score right now as they skate to the soundtrack of Amelia.
Jazmine, Desrochers, and Kieran Thrasher open the Junior Grand Prix final for the pairs teams. And they said that Amelie, the story is of a movie where a girl helps others find joy and through this journey finds her own true love. And that's what they tried to portray in the program. And I think they have a wonderful connection for such a new team. And Jazmine really does exude a great performance skill on the ice.
Yeah, there's a nice natural connection between the two. This is a new team, of course, and they've got lots of work to do on their individual skills, and time will connect them even more than what we see already. But they have a nice natural emotional connection on the ice at this very early stage of their partnership. So that's so good to start with on their journey.
And Jazmine said that they're a new team, but they were friends before skating together as a partnership, which she cites to be really helpful in striking this great working balance.
And here is the twist. It comes in at level 2, so there's the split. Hands may not get all the way down to the side. Catch looked to be okay. The double axles, watch for Jazmine. Does not get the legs tight in the air. Has to put the foot down and turn out of that as well. So that's a minus 1.04 GOE on that. This lift mark was really nice. The Group 3 lift, great ice coverage.
Yeah, and it just still, I remember we talked about it on the Junior Grand Prix series, but it blows my mind that Jazmine was on the Can Skate program just over a year ago, and that Coach Bruno Marcotte saw something in her which could make a great pair skater. And obviously, as we see the two-footed landing in the throw triple loop, wonderful to be in an environment where she has a coach that can recognize the potential, where others who see a teenager and can skate might not even consider them as having a future as an international athlete.
Yeah, and Bruno's done such a great job to be patient and allow her to progress at her speed and make sure that there's no pressure. Now, mind you, they're at the Grand Prix final, Junior Grand Prix final here, so that's a lot in 1 year to sort of cope with, but a lot of experience gained in year number 1.
The scores, please.
Well, 55.24 is their season's best, and that is a 54.91. So just shy of that. They're the first team out in this event. New experience. Our next team also represents Canada. Ava Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov.
And Jonathan celebrated his 20th birthday last Saturday, hoping for further celebrations today.
54.25, their personal best skating to music from Cirque du Soleil.
Well, wonderful to see Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov just really coming into form. After Junior Worlds last season, he had that horrible collapsed lung that really, understandably, hugely affected their off-season. And now, a few weeks on from the Junior Grand Prix, you can really see how much more comfortable they are with a little bit more mileage behind them in the short program that they used last year too.
Well, in my mind, no question, this was their best short program on the Junior Grand Prix this season. Very solid, well-trained, tracked each other extremely well, particularly on the step sequence. Great unison on the first side of the change combination spin as well. So you don't normally see that in the juniors. Usually it's a little bit out of sync, but that was beautifully done.
Yes, and I say good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That's the analysis at the end. But good to see that it's a celebration. Jonathan shares the same birthday as Ilya Malinin, who won the men's short. Good day for those born in this month.
There's the triple twist. Double axles, well timed. The takeoff and the landing. There's the throw triple loop. Free leg comes up and pushes back. Nice clean landing, good extension. Loop 3 lift and to hip. Good ice coverage here and nice smooth turns by Jonathan.
And you know, Ted, actually particularly impressive on that throw triple loop because we saw Eva have a fall and warm up on the element, and so really impressive that at 15 years of age she was able to channel the landing that she needed under the pressure of the performance.
Yeah, there just seems to be a new confidence level of this team, and that just comes with training and experience. And there they lost the synchronization on the second side of the spin, but the first side was really well done.
I also have to give praise and credit to the team for sticking together through that illness and injury that Jonathan suffered. And now, you know, I remember thinking how brave they were to compete in the Junior Grand Prix earlier on this year with such a limited off-season. Now they're reaping the rewards of that tenacity and sticking together, which is a testament to not just Jonathan in recovering from the illness, but also to Eva supporting him.
It's quite a journey. You know, it's a journey of the team, of the coaches, and the parents, and the skaters, and it's up and down, and you're never quite sure, are we on the right track? You just have to continue on. And you can see the smiles. They're very happy with that performance. And so they should be. I clearly think it's the best of the season so far. The national championships coming up in Calgary in January. As we take a look at their season's best score, 57.91 for Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov of Canada. And that'll put them currently into first place, second team out. Our next team represents the United States. Olivia Flores and Wang. They're coached by Drew Meekins and Natalia Mishkatuniak.
Luke was saying that both his mom and dad are of Chinese descent, so it's particularly important and pertinent for him to be here and enjoy seeing some of the culture in their first Junior Grand Prix final together.
And they'll skate to Once Upon a December.
Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses prance through a silver storm, figures dancing gracefully across my memory.
Olivia, Flores and Luke Wang from the United States of America, and that penultimate element, the step sequence, what a great opportunity to see their strength in skating skills, both as two individuals and as a team. That said, they'll be disappointed with the fall on the throw triple loop, but a team that I think really loves to storytell and ingratiates themselves to fans on the Junior Grand Prix and here in Beijing.
Yeah, that's so nice to have that quality at the junior level. And they'll continue that, of course, if they're connecting already to the music and the story as they continue in juniors and up into seniors. That part of the big project of developing into a world-class skater will at least be started to a nice level.
That's interesting. Drew Meekins there just saying everything else was really nice. You guys did a great job. But of course, the fall in the throw triple loop, but the reaction to it suggests that they were really well trained, and that's not maybe a reflection of what was happening in practice. Level 2 assigned to the triple twist. And here, the throw triple loop. What a shame. But look at the commitment to the expression from Luke Wang on the landing. A team that has probably the best presentation component score of any that we've seen so far. And that's perhaps, as we look at this lift, the impact of Olivia's sister, Isabella Flores, who's actually currently competing in Zagreb as an ice dancer.
Wow.
Oh, what a wonderful match in the landings of those double axels. Just see the loss of unison and synchronicity on the change from combo spin. Great low position from both in the forward inside death spiral, and that coming in at level 2.
Thank you for these.
The scores, please. Olivia Flores and Luke Wang.
Short program score, season's best of 54.37 for Olivia and Luke, and that'll put them currently into third place.
美国组合弗洛雷斯和卢克王断接比得分为54.37分，刷新赛季最佳成绩，目前暂列第3位。
There is a look at the results so far after 3 teams. I think the pair discipline, Mark, I'm not sure if you agree with this, takes a little longer to develop.
Oh, completely, and the bravery, tenacity, and resilience of these athletes is just so impressive. I cannot underestimate, and we'll never fail to reiterate how amazing the pair skaters are.
Representing Ukraine,
乌克兰组合
Violetta Sierova and Ivan Khobta.
Violetta and Ivan, such a strong team. You'll see wonderful qualities,
Martina,
senior
Ariano,
qualities in some
and
cases.
Charly, Laliberte, Laurent.
And there's Martina and Charly
Representing Georgia,
from Canada,
吉亚组合
and from Georgia, the leaders coming in here,
and Luka Berulava.
Anastasia and Luka.
Skaters, your 6-minute warm-up begins now.
运动员现在将进行6分钟热身。
So what will the difference be in these 3 teams for the audience to take note of, Mark?
Well, I think we will be taking, if it's anything, the Junior Grand Prix Series is anything to go by, we will take somewhat of a quantum leap in the standard by the final team, Metalkina and Berulava, who have a significant experience as seniors in former partnerships themselves. So we'll be treated to something there that is of a caliber that would be worthy of the senior event. But for this team, Violetta, Sierova and Ivan Khobta, further admiration for them as pair skaters, because since the Junior Grand Prix Series, Violetta didn't skate for 3 weeks. She was off the ice for that entire time to try to give her body the chance to recover from the injuries that have plagued her. But unfortunately, when she started to prepare to compete again, the injuries returned, and that's why this team will continue to use easy content on the tech score, because they just cannot further exacerbate the injuries that have plagued her. So admiration for them being here, and the positive energy towards, I think it's Violetta's back that has been so problematic.
Yeah, but the overall quality of some of their other elements are just so beautiful. You can see that they will be, once they heal from all the injuries, will be really a top team in senior in years to come, or could be. You can look at that beautiful lift. Incredible.
Both these skaters are students with diverse interests. She's 16 and likes to cook and travel, while he's 18 and likes playing video games. This season marked their debut.
What young man doesn't like to play video games?
Mark? I love the fact that Charly, Laliberte, Laurent is in the moment enough to be able to hear, I think it's PJ Pong who's speaking, and being able to recognize what's being said and not, you know, be too consumed with the pressure of the event not to have a little chuckle on his face when his hobbies are revealed.
Of course, PJ Kwan, the announcer, announced also at the Olympic Games in Beijing as well, does a lot around the world.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
PJ's voice, I mean, we should be talking, I should be talking about the wonderfulness of Martina and Charly on our screen, but PJ's voice, she was at one of the other Grand Prix assignments that I covered, and she's just a fantastic voice.
Yeah, very clear. Anastasia Petokina and Luka Brulova. They're pretty spectacular as well.
Yeah, and I think the scores that they have posted on the junior circuit, as I say, would have been really competitive in the senior event as well, and it remains to be seen as to whether or not this team will elect to double up at ISU championships at both senior and junior, but certainly they appear to be somewhat in a class of their own at this stage, but that's based on the fact that they're the oldest team, but also their experience as senior competitors as well.
You can just see the speed, the quality of the positions, just extraordinary for juniors. And as you're right, it's the class of the field without question, and they are definitely a senior looking team. And there seems to be more teams starting to develop around the world. You know, there was a time when pair skating was really affected, as you mentioned a little earlier, by COVID, but we're starting to see perhaps some growth, and some of these new teams, it takes, as we mentioned, it takes a little longer in the pairs discipline to grow together as a partnership and develop the skills. And so, but I think it looks good for pair skating in the senior category in years to come.
Yeah, that's something that we also hope for, because although there perhaps hasn't been the quality that we've maybe seen in previous Olympic cycles, that I think only serves to reaffirm how complex this discipline is. And it was interesting to hear from some of the senior teams about their feelings and thoughts towards higher tech elements. And it was interesting, I read an article about the Hungarian team who competed in this senior event here in the pairs discipline, and they and their coach Dimitri Savin just acknowledging that the throw quads or the split quad twist has repercussions on the body, and that these kind of elements, which are so incredibly complex and physically demanding, cannot be attempted unless there's time to hone the technique that will make it safe. And so that's, you know, what we just hope is that these teams will stick together long enough to give themselves the time to hone the technique that they can push technically and creatively as well.
Yeah, and as long as one of the teams is not doing those elements, then there is no need to do them. And you'd mentioned with the Liamelinen, 1 point difference between the quad axle and the what was it, the quad door, the triple axle?
So yeah, it was
the
just
quad lats, pardon me.
Yeah, quad lats 11.5, quad axle 12.5.
So you have to start to measure how much impact is this having on my body, and is it worth it for that possible 1 extra point? So, you know, and this is the dilemma that the sport is on right now. We're not seeing as many quads in women at this moment, and we haven't seen the quad throws and the quad twists like we did a number of years ago. But the balance between your health and the value of that one element is a judgment call.
Yeah, and what is interesting, what it's paving the way for is that discussion about program components, artistry and expression. And I think our sport is it's so exciting what was achieved today with the quad axel, but our sport is renowned for the storytelling capability that it has, and I think that's what's garnered fans. You know, maybe in the, if we think of this pairs discipline with Gordieva and Grinkov, who Mishkatina Dimitriov, or Saleh Pelletier, who told stories and moved people. You know, if we can get teams to be able to stick long enough together to hone in on that, that would be exciting for the future of the sport too.
Well, there's lots to work with here, so it depends on the strategy and the skills of each individual team and skater. So that's what makes the sport so interesting. Here we go. Final group in the junior pairs short program, representing Ukraine, Violetta Sierova and Ivan Khobta. .55.52, their season's best, earning that in Budapest. And they'll skate the short program to If I Can Dream.
There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in the sky. Oh, if I can dream of a better land where all my brothers will hand in hand, tell me why, oh why can't my dreams come true? Oh, why? There must be peace and understanding sometimes. Strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why, oh why won't the sun appear? We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. In my heart there's a trembling question. Still I am sure that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a baptism candle. And what I can think, what I can talk, what I can stand, what I can walk, what I can dream, please let my dream come true. Right
Well, congratulations to Violetta Sierova and Ivan Khobta, not because that was the skate that they wanted necessarily, but for battling with all the challenges that they've had. It's her right hip and her back that's been causing her such pain, and she acknowledged that the pain was evident in her body through the Junior Grand Prix series. They've tried their best to give it the time to heal. It hasn't happened, and so we have to admire the tenacity and the strength of character to come out and perform here in Beijing, knowing the pain that she's going through.
Yeah, you can see Violetta just a little fragile through some of those elements, and, you know, making them as simple as possible to protect that injury. But it did impact also some of the skating skills perhaps through the program as well. And you can see Violetta coming off the ice just a little, you know, disappointed and frustrated, as any athlete would be when you have an injury you just can't seem to fix. And although you're able to walk and skate, not to the degree that you want, of course, so disappointing.
And I remember at the time of the Junior Grand Prix, you look at the split twist, which actually I mean, double twist, which I'm sure they're capable of triple when the injuries aren't affecting them, and the same stands for obviously the loop.
You can see all the technique is great, straight and strong in the air, good landing. It's just the risk of the multi-rotational throw and jumps. This lift is incredible. Comes in at a minus GOE because there was a little bit of hesitation, but really, I can't even imagine what it's like to be up in a lift like that.
And as we watch the change foot combo spins and see the lack of synchronicity and unison, that's obviously going to be affected by the lack of training time. But I remember during the Junior Grand Prix, they were acknowledging that the problems that are happening for their families and friends at home in Kyiv and Ukraine, that too will play heavy in their minds. So they won't come out on top, I think, at this event, but they're champions of life and pushing themselves through training to this.
Absolutely, no question. There's just a lot of going on in their lives right now, both physically for themselves and back home as well, to carry all this and to get through it. Skating perhaps is a bit of a help. 47.52 for Violetta and Ivan in the short program. That'll put them currently into 4th place. And we wish them the very best moving forward to the free program, and hopefully that injury can begin to resolve itself over the next little while. Our next team is from Canada. Martina, Ariano, Kent, and Charly, Laliberte, Laurent. A new team come together very, very quickly. Their season's best 53.67. And they're going to skate to I'm Gonna Be.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. And when I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. But I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more, just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
Martina, Ariano, Kent, and Charly, Laliberte, Laurent from Canada. You can see the visible disappointment, understandable disappointment, courtesy of the fall on the throw triple loop for Martina. But that said, Ted, whilst this wasn't the skate that we saw perhaps of them on the Junior Grand Prix series, you can still see behind the tech mistakes to see the development from the components perspective as well. And the program, choreographed by Joey Russell, looking stronger and more developed than it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, this is a really interesting team. They have something unique and special, and they're still in the development stages, under construction, if you will, and the elements look pretty good. But the connection is there, maybe not to the level here in this program that we saw a little earlier in the season, but this is early on. This is a new team, and it takes a while to get connected and to be able to skate as one. Here's the twist. Good catch on that. Double axels, and they get that out nicely. Group 3 lift, and the hip of the difficult entry. Reverse direction to start with. Change position, change of direction, and a nice dismount. Here's the throw triple loop. Let's take a look. A little forward on the landing here, slips right off the picks right there. Just doesn't keep that back strong enough and just bends a little bit too far forward on that landing. Forward inside death spiral. And the program.
I think just missing the direction of the judges. I like how Charly looks over his back at them.
Well, the director cut the camera right on the music, so it was pretty good anyway.
It's hard to conceive that they've only been together since March of this year. So, you know, if you've only been together, what is that, 9 months, not even, then each passing week will be opportunity for exponential growth. So should they make the Canadian team for Junior Worlds, then I can expect that the team will be almost revolutionized yet again by early March.
Yeah, and as much as it's good to get the experience of these competitions, it also prevents you to some degree from the work that you need to do in the trenches every single day, because you're preparing for competition. So you win on one side with competitive experience, but you're losing the training time that you really need to work out some of the small details. But that's okay. It all equals out at the end of the year.
So
I would assume that they
true.
will. Yeah.
Because the time that they would have been spent honing their technical or their technique stylization match was probably spent on just getting choreography done, ready for this busy season they're having.
Yeah, exactly. Season's best 55.97. That is with the fall. So they're really on the right track. That'll put Martina and Charly currently into second place. Good start. Yes, mistake, but some other very, very fine qualities. Much more to come. Our final team represents Georgia, Anastasia Medokina and Luka Barulova. This team is a cut above. You'll notice the speed, the quality of the positions, the quality of execution on all the elements. They're both in senior and in junior, and they'll skate to summertime.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, don't you know, my darling? I said it right now, and the cotton is high. Pretty baby. Little darling, do not let a tear fall from your eye. Oh!
Anastasia Metalkina and Luca Berlava.
That's amazing. Hey, Mark?
Don't you think the short program here, it seems longer than all the others, not in a negative way. It just seemed like the construction of the music, the orchestration of the music, and the storytelling and the dance breaks that they had, they somehow managed to fit in more choreography and musical interpretation than is seemingly possible in a normal conventional pair short program.
Yeah, it's actually one of my comments. There's a lot of detail in this program that is not in the other programs at this stage. The other teams are still developing. This team has a lot of experience both in junior and senior. So you'll see a lot of choreography and transitions, work with hands, with the head, that aren't necessary for the technical part, but this is a more all-round team, no question. Strong technically, strong in performance, great delivery of the choreography.
And they've already scored a 69. If they cross over the 70-point marker, that would put them potentially in like the top 3 standings in the senior category as well. And I'm just interested to know, I'm not sure, I haven't asked them, but I assume that come the end of the season they'll be considering senior worlds as well, and they have every potential to be competitive for medals at senior worlds as well as at juniors, obviously.
And there's the twist, the hands down to the head at the side, the catch on the hips, really nice. There's the double axels, so strong, landing at the same time, good stretch in the free leg, similar or precisely the same positions, and you can see the little detail right in here. As you didn't quite catch in the other teams at this point of their development. There's the lift. Look at the speed. Watch the left foot lift on the turn right there. The left foot lifts. And that's a bit of a different turning technique that he has that other teams don't have as much. Carries it perhaps a little bit more flow.
And I love that pop extension on the music, just making it a bullet point for the judges for the grade of execution to be that bit higher for the lift. And interesting, when we see, Ted, the scores coming in now, it looks like they will achieve over 70 points. It looks like it would be the 3rd best score if they had used this in the senior ranks. But what's all more pertinent about that is that they couldn't do a side-by-side triple. They had to do side-by-side double axels. And so we know that they're capable of so much more, but restricted to the juniors.
Whoa, watch out for the seniors, that's for sure. Season's best, 70.48. They broke the 70-point score. They're thrilled.
They are currently in first place.
Wow. So we'll be watching them in probably the junior and senior world championships as we take a look at the results after the short program for the junior pairs. Big 13-point lead for this team. And smiles all around. So nice to see. There they are, Anastasia and Luca at 70.48 with Iva and Jonathan 13 points back at 57.91, and Martina and Charly at 55.97, your top 3 teams in a field of 6. Final thoughts there, Mark?
Well, it's exciting to see the proximity of scores there, and potentially Olivia and Luke, who may find themselves second from the bottom at this stage, they're not too far adrift from a silver medal as well, so I'm excited to see how things will unfold in the free skate pairs event.
Yes, it will be tight indeed for 2nd and 3rd. 4th and 5th lots can change, as we know, because they have the throw jumps, the side-by-side jumps. Those are so fragile at the junior level, generally speaking, and that can make the difference. But we'll see what happens in the free program. As we take a look at third place. Martina, Ariano, Kent, and Charly, Laliberte, Laurent from Canada. Something special that they'll explore in new programs next season, continue the development. Less than a year together. What a great job.
And the top-ranked Canadian team of the three, Ava Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov, they were second to skate and finish in second place after their short program, achieving a personal best en route to that by over a couple of points. They returning from ill health in the off-season and coming into their best ever form, and they love the new free skate that they'll show.
And the leaders with such detail and quality on all the elements. We see them go through throw, triple loop, watch that free leg come out, punch back. Look at the speed on the landing for Anastasia and Luca from Georgia. Double axles, no problem. The beautiful lift, covering the whole width of the ice. Look at some of the steps, the quickness and agility this team has. They're junior, but they're also senior. We'll see much more throughout the season. Well, that concludes our coverage here of the Junior Grand Prix Junior Pairs event. We hope you'll join us tomorrow for more great skating from Beijing.
Dear audience friends, this competition has ended.